Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Cameron, and I'm just going to kind of hit on this whole thing. I just got home from work, and obviously, while I was at work today, Kyle Orton now has the starting job here in Buffalo, and I kind of just wanted to hit on that a little bit. And I'm going to try my best to keep my thoughts coherent because there's a lot going on in my head because I've wanted this for some time now. Um, to start off, I think it's a great choice. Kyle Orton has never had a chance in Buffalo, and I think he deserves a shot in Buffalo to kind of prove himself. Everyone, looks at his track record on the teams that he's been in the past. I haven't really invested too much studying into that to see, what kind of teams he had around him at that point, but I think a decent quarterback with everything surrounding him in Buffalo and the current team that we have in Buffalo has a pretty good shot at being something, or at least managing the team and letting the defense do their work and getting wins that way. I think EJ has been struggling. One thing that people forget is going into, picking up EJ, we had Kevin Cobb, and the whole idea was to have EJ grow on the bench and learn on the bench with Cobb leading the helm. But then Cobb got the concussion and threw EJ in the mix, and I think he has struggled in his progression of being a franchise quarterback because of just being thrown in the mix and having to, keep up with everybody's expectations to lead the team to the playoffs and things like that. I thought he's done decent, but he struggled with his progression. He obviously struggled with injuries on his knees there. So with that being said, I think he will grow a lot more on the bench and let Orton, see what he can do throwing the ball in Buffalo. I don't really think he's the answer. I don't think he's, going to take us to the Super Bowl, but I think that'll give EJ a chance to kind of grow and work on his accuracy, hitting the receivers and hitting them at the right point of the routes and being smarter with his reads because those are things that, they're not going to get us to the playoffs and beyond. So he needs to kind of work on it, and I don't want to see him work on it while he's, leading the team to the ground. It's going to just hurt his confidence. And then I also don't want to watch this whole season and see us not really go anywhere either. So I think it's a smart choice. I mean, there's a couple factors that could lead, or I guess could be the pinpointed reason why our offense isn't really doing that well. So I think that's another reason it's a good choice because now the three things that I'm torn on is either a quarterback being EJ. He could be the reason we're not doing so hot, but I think it's more so along the lines of the O line and Hackett. I mean, it's all kind of could be a combination of all three of them realistically. But this would be a good idea. If we're seeing the same mistakes and the same things happen with Orton at the helm, we have a good idea that it's either probably the O-line or Hackett. And I don't think, I mean, at this point, I feel like Hackett has been way too predictable. I'm going to kind of go off on a little bit of a tangent just speaking of our offense in general. I think Hackett's been really predictable. When you see EJ, or CJ, rather, I apologize. When you see CJ or Freddie make a stellar run, you can pretty much guarantee the next two or three plays are going to be that same player running the ball. It's way too predictable, and we're running this really vanilla offense when we have all these weapons, and we could do things differently, but we're really predictable, and people are reading us like a book lately. So I think it goes, beyond EJ in that respect, but I think he does have a lot of maturing and a lot of growing to do as a franchise quarterback before he can lead us anywhere special as a team. And I think bringing Orton in as a starting job is going to be the way to do it. You look at the great quarterbacks, back in the day, or even now, they grew on the bench under somebody else. You look at Brady, you look at Rodgers. I mean, granted, they grew under much more favorable vets, but like I said, we don't really know what Orton's going to be with everything surrounding him here in Buffalo. He could be more than he's been in the past. I don't know. Like I said, I don't really have the expectation that he's going to be our answer or the one thing that's going to take us far and beyond where we are now. Not really. I think people are viewing this whole situation differently than it's intended. A lot of people are, I'm seeing the EJ lovers and the EJ haters separately saying, hey, EJ sucks. I'm so glad we got Orton to lead us to the future. I think that's incorrect. And then there's the EJ lovers who are like, oh, we should, give EJ another 3 years or whatnot, see where he becomes then. I think that's also wrong. I think this is more of, hey, we're going to put EJ on the bench, let a vet kind of lead the helm for a little while and let EJ learn and, take things that way. I think it's kind of like right in the middle point between loving and hating EJ, and that's pretty much where I am. I think he's shown some signs, the last drive there in Carolina, I was 12 rows up from that game-winning catch to Stevie, with 2 seconds left in the game. I'll never forget it. So he's shown signs, he's shown plays where he can make the key plays. but he hasn't shown the consistency that he can make the key plays and the key drives whenever we need him to, and he needs to work on that. So I think bringing Orton is a good choice. We'll see. That's just kind of my 2 cents, and I didn't really do as I said I was going to do in terms of keeping my thoughts very coherent. I was all over the place, but I hope you kind of get an idea where my head's at in this whole situation. Go Bills, and let's see what Orton can do.